Hello, hello.
Hello.
How
You're
you?
so cute. I'm good, managing life, kids, not working, but busy.
That's weird for you, huh? You're not
It
used to
is.
you're not used to not working.
Sitting still, taking the time. But, for me, taking the time because when I go back to work, this is time you're not going to get back. So I'm
Right?
enjoying it for sure.
Okay, wait, let's back up. Tell us about you. What your name, what you do, who you
Oh, Rochelle, Rochester. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work urgent care. Been doing that for, let's see, I graduated in 2008, got my master's in 2010. It's like 15 years almost. Started out as a nurse. I worked in oncology, cancer for adults, couldn't do children. And when I, like, hands down, best job I've ever had. And then I lived in California most of my life, moved into Oregon 2015. Um, and we've been here and I love it. I work urgent care now. I didn't work urgent care prior to moving here. And it's a great move. I love it, as you know. It's like, I love people. Come from a nursing background. My mom was a nursing, my grandma was a nurse, like it's amazing.
turn your camera so you could be in the middle. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Mm.
I know I'm trying to look like, where do you look right there?
Yeah, I didn't realize we both moved. Well, I moved back in 2015 after I had,
Yeah.
yeah, and you had just moved there.
Yeah. Because Dion was 2 and he's 13, right? Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
about that time.
yeah,
And
I didn't
you moved
from
from
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And you're not here no more. I'm still here.
Nah, girl, it was time for a change. It was that time, man.
Yeah.
I needed more sunlight, but I
I get
needed
it.
other things. Sunlight just came with the package.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
okay, so Rochelle doesn't have any idea what we're talking about today. Today I want to talk about friendship.
Okay.
For the longest, I only had one friend who I felt like I could just be nice to him 24/7. You know, that didn't come with no extra drama, that no matter
Mm-hmm.
how tired I was, if he needed something, I would do it. No matter how tired he was, if I needed something, he would do it. Like they really cared about me
Mm-hmm.
150,000% more than anybody that I know, like even more than my family.
This is Eddie.
Yeah.
Ellie,
Right.
those friends are hard to find. I bet you most people will tell you they don't have a friend like that.
But then
That's a
I
hard
found
thing to find.
you.
Well, I'm one of a kind.
And
So
I was like, damn, I didn't know I could get a female version like this. And I want to talk about that because friendship with you is just so easy. It's so light. It's like, I mean, we both have our troubles and stuff, but I never, ever, ever have to wonder how you feel, you know?
hmm
And I feel like it's not like that with just me. I mean, like maybe we feel it a
hmm
100% between us, but I feel like you're that same friend with other people. They probably don't see it, but and I could be wrong, but I really want to talk about how you balance that, considering I mean, you are a mom, you have two kids, you have a husband, you have your own shit, you have your own, you have your extended family, like your mother, grandmother, your whole family in California. You didn't live up, you didn't live in the suburbs and stuff. You had somewhat of a life back
hmm
then, on top of being a nurse and urgent care, which from my understanding, that's one of the harder jobs as a nurse because you can't really get attached to your customers. Whereas like
hmm
the family doctors, they know their customers.
Yeah.
And ER, as an urgent care person, you're always meeting new people and have to dealing with them with what they're going through right then and there. And for me, that's a lot for somebody, for them to still be able to just be so awesome all the time.
To give. I will start off by telling you, I remember telling you, I've always told you, friendship should be simple. Friendship should not be complicated. And I think that's where you and I just connect. I don't need any friends that are complicated. I don't need anxiety. I don't need stress. I remember you saying so many times, "That's it." I was like, "Yeah, Ellie, like it's easy. Like you ask me to do something,
It's
I'll do
easy
it."
with
Or
you
you,
for me.
yeah, but like that's how friendship should be. That's how I was raised. I had good friends. I remember Ellie being in like fifth, sixth grade. And like you said, we lived in an apartment. We lived in two bedroom, but my mom did not have money. My mom worked, worked, worked. And I had this one best friend who dad just took care of me. Like he was always giving, like, make sure you give Rochelle money, make sure you do this. So I learned from a young age what a true friend was. Like that just give unconditional. Like she didn't expect anything in return. Her family was lovely. So I think I've had really good role models, whether it's friends, family, come along to show me what a true friend is too. I will say I probably have four people I consider like my best friends.
Mhm.
And those girls I've known since middle school. We became best friends in high school. I
Mhm.
met you later in life, obviously, the past couple of years. And I have great friends here, Carrie, Sarah. I consider this one of my best friends. But it's different bonding, right? Everyone I feel, and I think I've told you this, everyone comes to your life for a reason. I have my school mom friends, I have, the neighborhood friends, I have childhood friends. But you're a friend that I connect with on all levels. And I agree with you. Like friendship like this, where I can just call you, not worry about it. That's hard to find, Ellie. I agree with you. And
You
I'm
know,
blessed to have
and
you
I
as a
think
friend.
the thing is I've always had a lot of friends, but I
Mm-hmm.
think I never ever realized how hard that some of them were, you know? And then like I mean, shit, probably wasn't the innocent person in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship, but it wasn't until no, I had one other friend who was like, we never got into fights or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very easy. The only part that was a little bit difficult for me, and I told myself as long as it's okay with me, I'll do it. But when it's not okay, but
Yeah.
when it's not okay, I'm not gonna do it. And so I wasn't so I just stay optimistic about it. And there's one friend that I'm talking about, like she has a set schedule, where if it don't fit into her schedule, it's not being
Mm-hmm.
done. And it has to be kind of like an emergency for me to like just jump into that schedule. You get what I
That's
mean?
also an understanding you have with that friend, right?
Yeah.
If you need that person, that you understand that about that friendship, and
And for
that's
me,
okay.
like as long as it was okay with me, you get what I mean? With
Yep.
knowing that I had to go to her house, knowing that, like I had to fit her schedule, it was okay. But
Yeah.
if I ever changed, then that friendship wouldn't be okay. If that
Gotcha.
makes sense, you get what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if I all of a sudden had my schedule and, because then you get kids, you get to having kids,
Yes.
it
Yes.
changes you. You get to having a
Yes.
husband, that changes.
Yes.
And this friend I had from way before I had kids and a husband. And I mean, we still made it work. We still never got into arguments, we still understood each other. But I did find that it was a lot harder to be that friend because now I couldn't fit into their schedule
Yes.
because now I have my own schedule.
Yeah. But I think what you're saying is friendships evolve, and that's what's happening. That
Yeah,
they pull you closer, they pull you apart, and that's okay. I mean, we evolve as adults, we evolve as women. I mean, that's supposed to happen, Ellie.
yeah,
It's just hard when you have those friendships for so long to see that happening. That's the hard part.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah.
I just, but okay. However, with evolving, I feel like there are certain people that no matter where you evolve to or where you evolve, like what level, they're
That's a
always
true
going to be,
that's a true friend. There you go. That's a
you
true
know,
friend. It's almost like a soulmate, Ellie, but it's your friend.
yeah, like I feel
Yes.
like you're my soulmate. Like,
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I've seen this connection. I remember going out. You know my friend Rebecca.
yeah.
I remember the day she met my friend Suzanne. I just remember those two coming together. I was like, these two are fucking meant to be friends. Like, that's how we were, Ellie. You just know instantly that friendship's gonna be there. And
Yeah.
it's never gonna, nothing's ever gonna change. Ellie, y'all in Texas, our friendship's not gonna change. I'm not seeing as you often. Do you know what I mean? But our friendship will never, you just meet people and I feel like, that's gonna be my friend. And for a long time.
I think well, I'm becoming better at being a friend. Like I know I'm a great friend, but I'm becoming even better at being a friend because I think with time we grow too.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn ourselves a lot more what we need and don't need, and therefore we can require or be that we can be to somebody wholesome, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So now when I meet people, I understand that they have responsibilities a lot
Hmm.
more than I did when I was younger. I understand that they have their own family, that they have this, so they can't just drop everything and come to me just because, I'm crying, or just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm feeling a certain kind of way. However, so I think I'm becoming a more understanding friend,
There you go.
but and so it makes it easier to have more friendships that are of better quality too, if I
Yes. Hmm.
yeah. But one of the things that I feel like also makes you such a great friend is because you don't overpromise nothing.
Hmm.
know? From day, you don't
Yeah.
overpromise nothing, and on top of that, you always say when you can't do something.
Hmm.
And so I found it if I ask, I'm a person that I'm not shy. If I ask for something, like if I need something, I'm gonna ask.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's up to you to say yes or no.
Or no. Yeah,
And a lot of
absolutely.
people don't want to hurt your feelings.
Hmm.
Then they say yes, and then you look up and they build a resentment
Yeah.
over
But
time.
also, we have an established friendship. When you're just developing
Starting
that
off though, no,
friendship,
no, 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 no. Starting off with you made
yeah,
it very, very clear, and we had an understanding. If you could do it,
from
you
the
could do it.
beginning,
If
that's
you
my
can't do it,
point, that
you
we
can't
had
do
that
it.
understanding from the
Yeah.
beginning. And I remember you saying, just tell me no. Rochelle, tell me no. And I was like, oh, dang, is that simple? You made it easy, Ellie. Not every friendship's that way. There's always those friends, that friends to this day. I was like, dang, can I really tell her that? So I think we established that early on, and we both made that easy on each other. So now we don't have to worry. Even money. I remember even like you're like, um, you bought something from mine. I was like, I need to pay you back. You're like, dang, I hate asking people for money. That's a hard thing to broach, right? We established that
You
early
made,
on.
man, you made so many things so easy for me because, like, I am that person that if we go out to eat lunch, I'm automatically gonna be like, it's okay, I got it,
Yep.
which is
Mm-hmm.
a problem because
Yep.
sometimes I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know why money is a hard topic for people, including me. Like today, now, I just completely don't even put myself in that situation. I ain't even going to lunch with people no more. Like I just like, you
But
know,
Ellie, guess where I learned that from? Another friend. This is why it's nice to know so many different people. It's nice to know people at different ages. I have girlfriends in their 40s and their 50s. I'm learning from them. It's nice to have younger friends. This is like you say, you have a lot of friends. We need to have that many friends. They don't have to be best friends, they ain't got to be close, but it's good to learn from other people. And I've learned that over the years. So I picked up for somebody else. I remember this mom just always like sending me money, send me money. And I just remember thinking, like, dang, I don't send her enough money. So it makes you aware of it, right? It makes me think like I just need to do that to be a
you
better friend as
changed that for
well.
me. Like now when
Mm-hmm.
I go out with people, I do. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm sending you this. I don't even wait on them no more. And
Mm-hmm.
you changed that so much in me because I'm telling you, I used to go out with friends and I look up and I was having resentment too. Like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always paying for this person. They ain't never offered to pay for me. They ain't never did this or never did that. But like with you from day one, I think I was the first person to pay for something.
Mm-hmm.
You was like, okay, I'm sending you money. What's your Zelle?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then also, like, if you pay for something, you know me. You know I'm a forgetful person. Like, Ellie, you ain't send me my money. And it
Yeah.
was never an uncomfortable situation.
No, because I know, Ellie, your intentions, right? You're not trying to not pay me. You just forgot. You're busy. We're busy moms, so it's just a simple thing. Yeah, but you're right. Money
But,
and friendship, you can't mix them, Ellie. So this is special. Let me be very clear.
uh,
I don't let people borrow
but you didn't
money.
let it get mixed. The
Yeah.
fact that you automatically sent me money and you set the standard, you didn't never let the situation get mixed where it was a gray area with the money. You
Yeah.
like you cleared that up from day one for me. And I feel like that made our relationship like so many things made this relationship easy.
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing that you did, and I know you remember this, it was your birthday, and you invited me to your birthday. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So I call myself being like an understanding friend, but and I ain't gonna lie, in my heart, I was like, I wonder what kind of friend, like, do she think that I'm as close to her as I believe she's as close to me? But
Right.
I didn't want to just assume, and I also
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to like move your other girlfriends out the way, even though like my old character would have kicked them the hell out the way. I was
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
nice. I was being
You're
nice.
funny.
And
You're
I went to the
funny.
other table, and then you yelled, you was like, get your butt right over here. This is your
Mm-hmm.
spot.
Yeah, I
And then,
remember that.
felt like that was the thing that sealed like the first seal of okay, cool. Yep,
Yeah.
we feel the same. This my girl. This my girl. I ain't even got to question nothing else. And that was like the first check. Okay, cool. Yep, she
And that
feels
also sets the standard for everybody else, right? Like this is a close friend. If you see me, you're gonna see Ellie. You know what I mean? Like we did so much together all the time. People knew, oh, Rochelle's gonna be there. Is Ellie gonna be there? Especially within the neighborhood, right?
hell yeah. They
That's
all knew.
yeah, for
They could
sure.
question everybody else, but they knew.
Uh-huh. Don't even get me started
Your
on Chris.
husband.
He
Both of our husbands
exactly.
too. Like you remember your husband just
Exactly.
go, I came
Girl.
to your house and he just gonna try to ask me what I needed with the door like
Hmm.
cracked. I
Hmm.
was like, boy, get
Hmm.
out of the way. What you think this is?
And that's the other thing. Chris even knew. Chris even had that understanding. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's Ellie. Let her in. You know, oh, it's this. Ellie coming over, she chilling. It was a clear understanding that it was a good friendship from the beginning. Because
Yeah.
Chris, let me be clear, if he don't like somebody, he'll definitely be like, oh, she coming over again? Oh, y'all doing, you know what I mean? Like,
Our husband's the same. My husband be like, oh,
exactly.
hell no, why you got this person around? They not even, you know, he be judging people too. They not even on your level. You hanging around with this person. Like, look at how
Stop.
they look. Look at how much money they making. Look at what they doing with their lives. Why you
Mm-hmm.
want to hang out with them?
Which at the same time, you know, that's our husband's trying to help us level up to some extent. So I get it for sure. Chris
Yeah,
is very picky. It
yeah.
has worked, Ellie.
You know,
Even I will say I'm impressed because you're so far away, but yet we still maintain, you know, during the week we would hang out 2 or 3 times in the morning. I'd come over, have
right?
coffee, hang out. So we still have those conversations. I feel like once or twice a week, you know, we still, and that's my point of friendship. We're still maintaining our friendship despite the distance. And that's hard. You're busy. I'm busy. You call me. I'm missing
No, but
you.
I don't feel like with you is hard at all. I don't.
No,
Because
because
I know
that's my
you
point.
always
It
gonna
doesn't feel
call me
hard,
back if
right?
you can't answer. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I call you, you can't answer, I know you're gonna call me back. If
Yeah.
I can't answer, you know I'm gonna call you back. Like it's never, and on top of that, I learned it was when Eddie's brother passed away, and something clicked for me, which is that if I really love someone and I truly believe that they love me, that there's nothing in the world that they could do to that they could do that I won't automatically assume that they did it intentionally to hurt me. You get what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yes. Yes.
that I have to truly believe that they're
Mm-hmm.
my friend. And if I truly believe that they're my friend 100%, then I know 100% that they would never do anything to intentionally hurt me, which means that everything is just a conversation.
You know what's funny that you say that? I literally got the shower the night and I thought that something happened. There was a situation. I thought for that person to even think that, they must not think I'm a good friend because my intentions are never, Ellie, I had the same thought, never to
Yep.
hurt you. If you're my friend, I will never hurt you. Simply say, hey, Rochelle, that was rude. Or hey, I didn't like that because
Mm.
I respect you and I love you as a friend. I would never intentionally hurt you no matter how it comes out. Girl, we're on the same page. So I just had that same thought just the other night.
You know, I almost had okay, you know, I'm going through this whole like miscarriage thing, right? And initially I didn't want to tell none of my family members. And one of the family members, like it, I'm telling you, the devil be working, girl. Because
Mm-hmm.
he came into my mind for a split second and was like, you don't want to tell this person because what if they're like, oh, something happened between us, me and this person? And what if they be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like God don't like ugly, you know,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I had to wipe that thought out of my head so
Mm-hmm.
fast because I'm like, my family loves me. And no matter like what we go through, no matter how much we argue or whatever, none of them, I truly want to believe and convince myself, whether this is or it's not, that they would never do anything to intentionally hurt me, you know?
Correct.
And therefore, I feel like I have a great relationship with them. And then also, I was thinking like sometimes how we feel is just a reflection of something that we would do. You get what
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes not all
Mm-hmm.
the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you didn't learn this person has showed you who they are, you know?
Yeah. They true
But
colors.
yeah, but I really had to think about it and I'm like, why am I afraid, you know, when I know that my family just want the best for me? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
their hearts, I really believe that they just want the best for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a normal feeling, especially with, say, there was some drama going on. That's normal for you to feel that way. But the conclusion is the most important part. You know, at the end of the day, they love
Right.
you, and that's all that matters. Yeah, that's
But
important, Ellie.
I had a problem. I ain't gonna have a me and you. I was at your house when I had that whole situation with one of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like they automatically assumed the worst of me. And I mean, girl, there was a lot of things in play around that, and I didn't handle
Right.
things well as well, you know.
Okay.
But going to that whole, it made me realize that anyone that if something happens between us,
Mm-hmm.
if they automatically assume the worst, that is not my friend.
We
Like
had this
I had to
conversation.
think
That's
about it.
hard. No, but we had this conversation. I remember at the time even saying, I don't think that's true. Right.
I don't know.
I remember the, and it,
I mean,
yeah,
that situation, I was at fault for a lot of things that was in there, and we definitely cleared that up. And I'm just
yeah,
using that as an example of.
yeah,
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a
yeah.
whole.
And yes, in
If
general,
someone knows
yes.
me well enough,
Yeah,
they know that I will never do anything to intentionally hurt them. But if it's somebody new, then okay, they don't know me
yeah,
that well, you know? But if
yeah.
it's
I
somebody
agree.
who really call me their friend,
Mm-hmm.
then everything should be just a conversation.
I 100% agree with you.
And if it's not, then it's too hard of a relationship to try to keep up with.
Thank you.
I get too much.
It's too hard for you to chase that person. So you constantly calling them like, okay, it's misunderstanding. No, I agree with you. We need to have this conversation as adults and we either move on or we don't. And
Yeah,
you're going to right then there where your friendship stands.
yeah. I was thinking about something with our relationship. Um, and I apologized to you before, but I think that I really like it did not click for me. You know, and if you don't want to talk about this, it's fine. You know, when you always tell me about your mother,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how hard life was with her. I had lived I want to explain something so you know where I came from, even though I know you say you forgive me and I know you're not holding it against me. I just,
Yeah, come on, Ellie.
as my friend, like I want you to know where my head was. When I first came to the States, my uncle kicked us out. I think I told you we were homeless and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was around a lot of shitty people. I was around a lot of like drug addicts, drug dealers. Like that life was so crazy that like when I
Mm-hmm.
came to Oregon, I ran so far away from it. It was as if it never existed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like I felt like my mind just like put a block up that
Mm-hmm.
it don't exist.
Yeah.
So much so, and I'm not coming up with no excuses or nothing, but so much so that this entire time that you've been telling me all of this, it never clicked. Like my
Mm-hmm.
mind blocked it out that much. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until like, the last situation you was telling me about that like my mind, like I sat down for a second, I was like, wait, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
All the flashes of like
Mm-hmm.
the
Those
history
conversations. Mm-hmm.
conversations we had back in the day when I was homeless and I seen this stuff, and then I finally saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But Ellie, I think to speak on this, right?
yeah,
This is what has defined me. This is what has made me who I am today. Because I hear people all the time like, I can't believe you went to college. I can't believe you did this.
mm,
You don't want to be to some extent. I didn't want to be like my parents. My mom is one of 12 kids. Most of them do drugs and alcohol. So that's what I grew up around, right? This was my lifestyle, house to house, living here and there. Until my grandmother took us in and said, you need a steady home. So I've lived that life. I grew up in AA. I grew up in going to rehab. I grew up going to all these meetings. Like I lived that life for a long time. And I say this to say, it probably didn't present that way to you because that's like my mechanism. I don't talk about it. I push it out, right?
and
Until I
then when
need to
you
talk
talk
about it.
about it, you talk about it like
Mm-hmm.
so matter of factly,
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh. Everyone says it like, wait, what? It's because I think that's my defense mechanism. The more I don't think about it, the more I don't talk about it, I don't have to deal with that, if that makes sense. And also, I dealt with it for so long. I'm trying to, in a sense, move beyond that. When we decided to move to Oregon, Chris was like, I think we're gonna move to Oregon. I was like, no way. I would never want to move to California. It was my grandmother. She says, you need to get away from your family. You are, what's the word? You are enabling your mother. The more you hear, the more you're around for her.
yeah,
So this was a big move for us. As much as it was big for our family, for work, it was also to have a little bit of separation from that lifestyle, right? I still get drawn into it. I still get the calls. Come on, I still mainly support my mom financially. but I don't have to see it and live it every day like I used to. So for me, I think the reason also where you kind of you forget about that part, it's because I don't talk about that much. That's for me, that's the only way I can protect myself from that too. Ellie, every time I get a phone call, what's my biggest fear? It's about my mom. Like that's my biggest fear is that my mom is currently homeless, right? And
Hmm.
I'm just waiting for this call to be like, man, your mom. So for me, I have to put up a defense mechanism. I have to not think about that. I'd be stressed every day. All day I'd be walking around stressed about my homeless mother, right? So for me, and I think the reason why I say I don't blame you or anything, because I don't talk about it as much purposely until I need to. And that was a tough situation I was saying about my mom and she's about to lose her place and all the money she owes. I was like, dang, it became so burdensome. I was, talking to you about it. So no,
That's
I
what I'm
don't
about to
blame
say.
you.
Like, as much as you don't talk about it that often,
Mm-hmm.
I heard a lot of conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and it never clicked for me. And but also, like, that goes back to me about you being such a great friend, because I know sometimes when I'm going through stuff, I have friends. Okay, but maybe that makes a difference in the friendship. I have friends that, like, when they talk about their problems, they want to just drop it on you, like,
Mm-hmm.
you
And then
know,
becomes your problem. Yeah.
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 So I end up hiding from these people. Like, I don't answer my phone. I don't do none of that stuff. Like, I'm like, I can't do it. I got my own shit.
Mm-hmm.
But with you, I feel like no matter what you're going through, it never feels like you have your own shit and you can't be there for me. You know?
Ellie, at the end of
And
the
I would
day, I
hope
tell
that I'm not the friend that come and dump my stuff on you like it's
no,
your fault too, like
never.
problem, but
But I will tell you, this is where faith and religion has held me down the most because at the end of the day, I just tell myself it's out of my control, right? I'm answering to one person. At the end of the day, I tell myself one day at a time. And I always say this to even my kids, I can't stress about stuff I can't control. And my
yeah,
family gives me shit all the time. You're letting your mom be homeless? You let her live on the street? No, my mom is a grown ass woman.
yeah.
Okay. She can live with me. She can live with my brother. She makes these decisions. But at the same time, is it stressful? Yes. But again, I just, you have to learn how to have your mechanisms. And that's been mine. And I have, people there that check on her, talk to her all the time. It's not like, every day I'm stressed out about it. But in the back of my head, yes, is that something I worry about? Absolutely. But
How does that
I've learned how to deal with this.
how does that impact your relationship with your husband? Or, like, is it
Mm.
better? Because I'm pretty like, in my mind, and I think about your husband, I think about my husband. I know how much they have in common, and their biggest thing is to defend you and to defend the kids, and you
Mm-hmm.
and the kids are
Mm-hmm.
first priority. So, like,
Yeah, and that's
I
why it
can
was
see it
easy
being
for
a lot
Chris.
easier today, but
Yes, but that's why it was easy for Chris to say, "Let's move," right? Because when I was in the Bay Area, I was constantly driving back and forth, constantly going to see my mom, constantly the emergency calls. 1 in the morning, I'm getting these calls. That was a lot. That was a lot to deal with. However, don't forget, I've known my husband forever. So Chris has dealt with this since I've dealt with this, which was in the 12th grade. That's when my mom got back on drugs. When I was in 12th grade, that's when I started dating Chris. So Chris has been through this whole cycle with me, from recovery to the drugs to seeing the highs and the lows. To me, like right now, not working. And me telling my mom, I don't have no money. And what does she say? Ask your husband. And he's just like, dang, like she got it down, right? Like she's like, go ask my son-in-law since you ain't got no money. And he'll just like, your mom she knows how to work it. Okay. So Chris is loving. Everyone asks me that all the time. How's he doing with it? Chris is just very supportive because he knows that at the end of the day, if it's going to stress me out, it's not good for a marriage and our family. So
yeah,
he tries to make life as simple for me as possible.
that's amazing. That's ama-
Yeah.
I remember you helped me in my marriage too, girl.
Well,
Because the first couple years, man, when my old self is like, oh, you need to get up and go club, and your husband don't want to go with you.
girl.
Your husband don't want to go with you. You need to do that. Your husband don't want to go with you. But I mean, it was a lot of things that helped. But girl, you helped me breathe during those times. Like, hey,
But
I
it's
was
also
here.
having a friend that understands. I could be like, Ellie, fuck him, let's go party. All right. That wasn't our mentality.
Right.
I think you just need to get out. You need to have a good time. But it's always wise to have wise friends, right? Like I've been with Chris for Ellie a long time, right? So I've learned a lot of this stuff along the way. That's easy to pass on. And
Right.
any new marriage, think about when we first had kids. That was me and Chris's hardest part of our marriage. This is what was hard for you. You were just married and just had a baby. You know what I mean? So I can
Right.
understand that 100% because I've been through that.
Yeah. I was about to say the other thing that like I think about too is you financially, like you the one balling, right? And you're out of
Mm-hmm.
your siblings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
probably get the most calls
Yep.
about being able to help. And not the other people not balling, but you're the one who end up
Mm-hmm.
helping.
Yep.
Was for me, okay, today, if somebody asks me for my help and I help them and I feel good about it and I don't feel no
Mm-hmm.
resentment. But there was years where I was like those friends that I was saying felt like they were obligated to do something, but then they hold it against you. Like there was years where I had resentment against them because I felt like I kept being put in a situation and I wasn't getting nowhere financially and I was just hurting myself because I would look up and I got debt and I got credit
Mm-hmm.
cards that are maxed out and everything. And just because I got a good job, they think that I got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Going
There's
back,
definitely that. First of all, well, there I would say multiple things. I'm one of two, maybe three now. Yeah, probably three or four, but it's not that I've gone to college, right? And Ellie, when I say I have a big family, mom is one of 12, over 300 cousins, first, second, third generation, right? So that's rare. Okay. So when I went to college, everybody, one, the impression was, oh, she thinks she's so good, right? Like she's going to go to
girl, yeah.
college, and, right?
Same. Yeah.
It was just like, oh, she thinks she's so good. And I was like, not really. And then two, we grew up in a very privileged area, right? Predominantly white, not a lot of black. So then I get like, oh, she's a white girl. Oh, she does this. Oh, she does that. She wouldn't have her white friends. Well, these are people who tell me about finances. These are the people who tell me about college, right? So then you have also this resentment with your family is like, dang, like she's kind of separating herself from us too, right? That's
Get
guess
that.
what wealth that led to, right? Now who's calling it? Anytime anybody in their family needs money, they call me. Absolutely. Because they know either there's money in savings, there's money there. And I think I've known that. I've always been okay with that. And at the end of the day, and I think I've told you this before, I won't give what I don't have. If I give somebody money, I don't expect it back. Will it be
Have
nice to
you
get it
always
back?
been like that though?
Yeah. Because I've learned early on, I mean, I can't give you something I don't have. I mean, I'm not putting on nobody's credit card. If I don't have it in my bank, you're not getting it. And I'm to the point in my life, I'll just tell you, no, I don't have it. And trust me, my mom has called me several times, like, can you just put in your credit card? No. If I don't have it, I'm not giving it to you.
Yeah.
But I will say, as our family has gotten older and evolved, I mean, these are conversations we're having as, 40-year-old cousins. Like I get together with my cousins every time I go home. All of us girls, we get together. And this is what we talk about. Like we didn't learn finances. We didn't learn even dating. I'm one of the only married cousins in my family. We didn't have good examples of marriages. You know what I mean? So this is like, I think we've evolved as family, as generations too. And I love it. I'm always here for it. I mean, I just connected my cousin to a financial advisor. Like, look, you need to get life insurance. You need to get this. And she was like, you would think at 55 I would have this. I was like, I learned something new today. So
I
I don't mind being that person. I mean, I'm okay with that. My brother has come a long way because he was my main burden. Okay. He just bought a house.
uh,
He's making good money. So, and he has said that he's like, you have pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And I said, at the end of the day, you have children. You have to set an example for them. You want to leave them money. People aren't thinking of generational wealth, Ellie. They're trying to live paycheck to paycheck to get by. I said, well, now you're beyond that. Now you make enough money to do better. So what's the saying? If you know better, you do. The more you know, the better you do. Yeah.
yeah, I was resentful because for me, it was hard for me at that time, but I also didn't want it was hard for me, but it wasn't as hard for me as it was for them, because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always had a car. I always had an apartment. My
Yep.
bills were
Mm-hmm.
always paid.
Yep.
I have a credit card, but I knew eventually I would pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like with them, it'll be, oh, my lights is off.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm stuck. I don't have no gas. Child,
Exactly.
I don't have no money for food. Can you order me a pizza?
Mm-hmm.
So like it was
And
more,
when you look back at that, you're like, dang, that's only $20, right? That's how you got to look at that. Like, so yeah,
yeah, but back then $20 was a lot for me.
girl, you ain't got to tell me.
But then I like today. I got to the point where I got better with my finances. I actually had a friend who sat down with me and who went over all my credit cards, all my bank accounts and everything. And he set up a system and he said, if you don't have, this is your spending account. If you
Hmm.
don't have money in here, you don't have
Hmm.
money.
Yep.
And it changed my life with respect to giving to my family because they no longer my emergency money I couldn't even see. My retirement
Yep.
money I couldn't even see.
Hmm.
Credit cards are off limit, so only thing
Yeah.
I had was that money. And so I would intentionally like I wouldn't spend it ever because I knew somebody in my family who
Yeah.
needed. So but it felt better to give because I felt like I was in a position where I could give where it didn't
Yeah.
hurt. Whereas
Yes.
before, I didn't know better. Like you said, we didn't learn finances. We didn't know how to
Hmm.
set up things to keep us safe, to keep us financially okay. But when I finally learned it, it became easier to give.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that definitely was good. And then on top of that, like marrying my husband was that next layer of
Yep.
protection.
Hmm.
But it also like it was kind of conflicting too because
Hmm.
he his whole job is to protect me and my kids, right?
Hmm.
However, like that bond with my family, my brothers and them is always
Hmm.
there. It's not going on.
Hmm.
So if a brother calls me and say, they need something, if I could do it, like I'm gonna do it.
Of course.
But and it used to be an argument between us. However,
I
he
will.
also was the person that like if somebody be like, "Oh, Shama," okay. Like I remember RE text me was like, "Shama, can you send me $20 for gas?" I sent him exactly $20, and y'all ear went off on me. It was like, "What's
That's
what
it.
else gonna do? That's all you gonna give him?
Uh-huh.
Send him
Uh-huh.
$100." And I told him, I said, "I don't think you realize how often this $20 come."
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
gets to the point because I used to do that, and it gets to the point I'm like, "No, you want $20? That's all you getting."
Here's your $20. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it feels better because they're all grown now. They all,
Hmm.
are making great money, better money. They have the skills to be able to make amazing money and do what they want. So now if they're put into a situation too, like I'll help to a certain extent because one
Yes.
person, Renee was when we were friends, she was a good friend.
Hmm.
She said it was this latest friend who was going to be homeless and she had a son and she asked me, can her son stay with me? And I had Renee and Eddie as roommates. And I said, yeah, because it's a kid. But then she
Hmm.
asked me, can she stay with me? And I'm like, at that point, I got to ask my roommates. And Renee told me, absolutely not. And I said, why not? Like, what if it was me? She said, because that would never be you.
Yeah. Wow.
She
Hmm.
said, would you let yourself be in a position where you can't
Exactly.
take care of your kid?
Hmm.
She
No.
said, so no. And so when she made
No.
it very clear that like, like you would sacrifice going out. You would sacrifice drinking, smoking, hanging out with friends so that you're never in that position.
Ellie,
And
that is so true because everybody does not have that mentality. That is 100% true. I'd be
and I,
damn if I lose my house. There's just no way. But I think you and I have said this. We're hustlers.
yeah,
We've lived this life. We know how to survive the rough of the. That's why, Ellie. We come on. I can make money out of a dollar, right? Because we live
sure.
that life. We know how to
Yeah.
go out there and right. So I agree. That is
Right?
a good point. Yes.
Man, I remember
But
so
going back to your spouse, that's also choosing a wise spouse, right?
right.
We were saying how, I definitely agree that Chris is always my go-to, like not working right now, not having no money. At the end of the day, I just know I have a husband that's going to do that. When I stopped working for the past 2 months, I had, let's just say $5,000, right? I knew it was going to have to last me November and December. Well, guess what? As soon as I got that call from my mom, that $5,000 was gone. I didn't have no money, right? So here I am telling Chris, I was like, oh, I really like to get a pedicure before I go to Hawaii, but I really ain't got no money. And he looked at me. He was like, you knew you was going to be off work for 2 months, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you didn't save no money? I was like, you know what happened. He's like, okay, babe, you're right. So having that person to fall back on, one, that's understanding.
Right.
And two, you have that person there, right? I know Chris got money put aside. I know Chris is always going to be there. Chris knew I wasn't working for 2 months, He planned for that. So choosing your spouse wisely, I mean, whether it's, I mean, friendship in general, supporting you in your friendship, supporting you in everything, that person makes a huge difference, Ellie.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you. So that was the other thing I was about to say is I remember during COVID time, okay? Me and Yair, well, since I married Yair, we married and we were stuck on COVID. That's what
Mm-hmm.
happened. We got married, we got locked up, we were pregnant,
Yep.
everything. And part of me was frustrated that we weren't traveling and we weren't doing stuff. However, I was pregnant and big as a house, okay? And then I had
Mm-hmm.
a baby. And then like my mind be believing I could do a lot of stuff, but my body be like, nah, hell no, sit the hell down, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then also like what he said to me all the time, he said, we don't know where the world is going. You know, with COVID, we don't know how long this gonna last. People starting to not have jobs and everything. We don't want to look up and we can't take care of ourselves. And my
Smart.
siblings and them, were traveling, they were doing all this stuff, and to each their own. However,
Mm-hmm.
putting all that money to the side, we were able to do the retail, get the
Yep.
store, get everything set up to move out here and move out here. Not only like we probably don't have no money, but we got enough product that if we sold everything for a
Mm-hmm.
dollar, we would be able to pay off this house, you
And
know?
that goes to show you how smart you were, right? You thought wisely. I paid off all my student loans during COVID. Same thing, Ellie was like sitting here thinking like, well, what am I gonna, we could, yes, that was very smart. And having that spouse to lead you that way, wow. Because other
Right.
people, girl, they was out buying bags, they was shopping, they was traveling. There was a lot going on during that time. So yeah, that was very smart.
Like, girl, I used to get lectures from my family and my friends. Y'all need to be dating. Y'all need to be doing this. And I ain't gonna lie, like part of me at the beginning was conflicted. Like, damn, like we ain't been on no honeymoon,
Ah, okay.
barely go
Mm-hmm.
out, all of this stuff. But then I had to sit down with myself and really think like what's important to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized that there was a lot of things that I thought were important to me, that it only was important to me because that's what I thought that was supposed to happen according to what the
Yeah,
world is. But then when I
that's
thought,
fair.
about, okay, who is my husband? Who am I? I'm never leaving him. Like that's not never
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen. So what can
Mm-hmm.
we do right now to where we both feel like winners? And it was the little things, like it was like we dated all the time. He cooks for me, he
Mm-hmm.
would come and start dancing with me, like
Mm-hmm.
randomly just do stuff for me. But it was a lot, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So then and then he used to say this and I used to think it was an excuse until I realized like, damn, he's right. He said the reason people have to do all of these holidays and stuff is because most people work and they never get to see their
Yep.
partners or their kids. So now they have to compensate for it. You and
Mm-hmm.
I spend 24 hours a day together. Like
Yeah.
we're together. We're together
Yeah.
all the time.
Y'all
We
together a lot.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we get to walk around this property and like just dream what we gonna do together. We get to hang out
Mm-hmm.
with the kids, do bonfires, look at horses, be with goats, and like if we want to go swimming, we could go swimming. Like, whatever we
Mm-hmm.
want to do, we could do.
But
And then,
that's the difference. That is your date night. That is your dating.
yeah,
That's what works for you. Absolutely. Whereas there was a time and period where I wouldn't see Chris. He's working so much. We needed that date night to connect. Right. So and it shifts. Now Chris is home more. Now I'm like, we need out the house. We need to do this. It shifts, it varies. And I think that's the thing with friendship, right?
right,
But what nice is you realize that you're not listening to outside pressure. You're not listening to other people saying, like, dang, are we really doing this right? You do what works for you.
right. But it took me a minute for that to click.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once it clicked, it was like it made my whole relationship a honeymoon,
Wow.
you know?
That's special, Ellie. Everybody doesn't have that.
But I was having a dilemma about going to Africa for my brother's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
but something clicked to me, um, which was I never want to put my husband in a situation where he has to be worried about me. And so, because when I realized that like people could go in a heartbeat, when it
Mm-hmm.
was that close to me, I realized
Mm-hmm.
like my husband could be gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm out there and something happens to me, my kids are here stuck. My
Yeah,
husband
but
is
that's not to stop you from
not it.
traveling.
No, I get that. I'm 100%. I talked to you and you reminded me, like
Hmm.
you still need to live.
Hmm.
However, I also like thought about the whole, like you said, changing generations,
Hmm.
even for my kids, doing stuff for my kids. And one thing that I realized that I always did in the past was that I was just up and leave and travel for my family for all these occasions. And then I would come back and be a year behind in debt because I would
Girl.
all my stuff would be paid and taken care of before I even went on the trip,
Hmm.
right? But then I get there and so don't have money for food, so
Yep.
and so don't have money for this occasion or that occasion. So I end up spending a couple $1,000s more
Yep.
than what I prepared myself for.
Hmm.
And I just moved out here. You
Man.
Like I just moved out here. I don't have we work for ourselves. We hadn't started
Hmm.
our business and everything. We took a few months off, but it was just like a reminder that my kids and my husband are first.
Your priority.
Ain't
Hmm.
nobody else gonna take care of me like my
Hmm.
husband takes care of me. As much
Hmm.
as my family like be trying to guilt trip, and like not guilt. I don't want to use that word because I don't want them to think that I'm talking shit about them. Everybody in their own beliefs, and they believe
Hmm.
family is most important, which I love my family.
Hmm.
However, my family wouldn't be nothing to me if something happened to my kids and my husband.
Right.
Or when I
Absolutely.
look up and we homeless. And I
Hmm.
tried to explain this to my dad. I said, money ain't everything. However, like
It,
I don't want to be 50, 60 years old trying to figure out where my next meal gonna come from. You know,
exactly, Ellie.
I don't think that that's the life. And I believe in God, but I also believe that God gave us the skills and the tools to do what he taught us to do.
Hmm.
And that's not the life I want to live no more. I like a couple years ago, I was like, when will we, we used to be proud to say, oh, we're survivors. And I'm like,
Yeah.
at what point is that stupid?
Mentality. Uh-huh. It shifts. It has changed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I think you're smart, Ellie. I think that I have this in a different perspective in that I travel a lot, right? You always over show you're going here, you're going there. My mind has shifted in that my kids are getting older. Dion's 13. So every time I'm gone now, I'm like, dang, he's only in the house for 5 more years. That's how I'm looking at it. Maya is turning 9. Like, dang, like she's gonna be a teenager. She's gonna be hanging out with her friends. So the last few trips I've taken have actually been really hard on me because I feel like I'm missing something. When I was in Paris, what I missed, Maya's recital. You know what I mean? Those are the little things that I'm telling myself. I've just noticed I want to be home more as my kids have gotten older. Same type of shift, right? I don't need to be out. I mean, I'm going to travel. That's always going to be. But being smarter about it is what I'm saying. But it has really hit me how much time I'm away from home.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I told my dad. I said, listen, Lenore has her gymnastics competitions. She has 3 weeks in January that she has her competitions. If I go to this wedding, I'm gonna miss him. Do you know how
Mm-hmm.
hard she's worked to go to
Yeah.
these competitions? I said, as much as like, it's kind of how you feel about me being there and about seeing your daughter. I
Yeah.
feel the same way about my kid. What kind of mother would I be if I'm not there?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, she'll love me, but I remember what it was
Yeah.
for my dad not to show up to my
Yep.
event.
Yep. I,
Huh?
I agree, Ellie. Absolutely. Girl, my mom was working every day. She wasn't at nothing. Okay. I remember that. And I tell Maya that all the time. I said, my mom was so busy working. She didn't come to all my stuff, Maya. And she asked me all the time, did you do gymnastics? You did. My mom couldn't afford no extracurriculars. We
Hmm.
were barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
So our
It,
kids are very blessed.
so I remember there was a time where I used to be angry with Yair for not joining things, like not going to their events and not going out with me and stuff. But when I really when something clicked in my head that only reason I can do this stuff is because he worked.
Yep.
I had to change how the narrative was about
Mm-hmm.
him to my kids. I realized I was doing
Mm-hmm.
it all wrong. And I had to
Yeah.
tell kids, like, you need to tell daddy thank you. Because only reason
Mm-hmm.
we can travel, only
Mm-hmm.
reason you can go to these gymnastics competitions that cost us $500 a month is because your daddy is sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think that daddy wants to be with us? Daddy would like to be with us 24/7. And I
Yeah.
think it's really important though, because
Yeah.
I, I I don't remember hearing that many great things about my dad,
Hmm.
you know? And
Yeah.
I remember, yeah, and so like I realized like I had to change the whole narrative about him to my kids, but it took for it to change in my head first.
Hmm. But I think you and I, when we talk about our husbands being similar, is the same, right?
Yeah,
Chris could work 40, 50 hours a week, if not 70. So early on, we realized there's just some stuff he's not going to do. And one, there's some stuff he just don't care to do. Let's be clear, right? We have husbands who choose and do what they want to do, right? But when it comes down to the big stuff, or just me saying, hey, I just need you here, or hey, kids need to see you need to be present, they'll step up.
right,
But our husbands aren't those dads. Like, trust me, I got neighbors. They're at every event, every pickup. They're sitting there. I'm just like, dang, you ain't got nothing better to do. But so having that mentality, Ellie, is good. I've been telling my kids the same thing. I said, oh, the reason you have this is because your dad paid for it. And Maya be the first one. She's the sweetest. She'll be the first one to be like, thank you, daddy.
mm,
So I think having that appreciation and showing your kids that's very important for sure. Well, I got to knock on my door, Ellie. Let me see. Okay, Ellie,
mm.
12:25, girl.
Oh, we could be done. I just it's like I said, it's just the hour and it's supposed to be
Yeah,
fun. So
you're cute.
let's
We should
work.
definitely do this again.
Yeah.
Elliot, I'm very, very blessed to have you as a friend. I think I've told you this. Friendships like you, people like you, it's hard to find. I think you and I have both said that connection. You don't get that everybody. I have friends come. I've had friends since childhood, right? And I love my friends, but we definitely connect on a different level. And I think so we do have so much in common. We have similar backgrounds, believe it or not, despite
Girl, all them
growing up in
family
different
members
areas.
you're talking
Uh
about.
huh. Yep. I mean, I think that's what allows us to connect so much more on such different levels, for sure.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man, y'all not as lucky as I am because y'all have a friend
Mm.
Rochelle.
Girl, trust me, I feel the same way. Let me tell you, doing COVID, doing everything, I knew hands down if I called you, you would be here. When I got sick with COVID every time and nobody wanted to take my daughter, oh, you got COVID? Who always showed up? Ellie, you.
Yeah, because I ain't
So
believe
that you,
it either.
but it's not even the point. The point was you
I
was
know,
even
I was
willing
just
to take
messing with
that,
you.
take that chance. You were like, I got you.
Hell
You
yeah,
don't find friends like that all the time, Ellie. That's hard. I mean, so I appreciate you. I appreciate you being such a good friend to me as I am to you.
man. Thank you. Thank you. Man, I always tell people I don't let my kids stay with nobody but Rochelle. You know?
Girl,
And
you already saw the text message. I've already told people my kids don't. Maya don't have no. She ain't sleeping over at nobody's house, right?
I totally know it. Anybody can stay here, but you can't stay at their house.
Yep, I feel the same way. Mm-mm.
But yeah,
So,
you have you know, people come, like you said, people come into our lives for different reasons and stuff. And right when I needed you, you stepped in and you have been there. You the first friend who came to visit me in Lubbock
mm, mm.
Desert.
Well, I'll be back, Ellie.
Right.
That's
Well, this time I think when you come back, it's gonna be even better because
yeah,
we're gonna be a lot more like a lot more comfortable here already and
mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah,
set up and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we're doing some more stuff. So I'm excited to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay,
You are
okay.
amazing. I love you. And
I
thank you
love you too,
for
honey.
this. I'm looking
Of
forward to
course.
the next time.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.